Wala na. Ayan. Good evening, everyone. This
Hi,
is Dar,
Belas.
and this is,
Jasmine.
and we are your hosts for tonight's game plan. So I hope you guys missed us last Wednesday. Kasi pag
Holy
may
Week.
fifth Wednesday of the month, wala tayong FB Live. may break. May break kami. But every Wednesday, don't forget, right, Jazz, we're
Mm-hmm.
online. So the first Wednesday of the month, it's our game plan, and Jazz will be my co-host from time to time, and then
Minsan lang.
sana every time.
Gusto niyo ba akong nandito lagi? Game tayo, game?
Game, kailangan sabihin niya, sumama si
Yeah,
Jazz
namimiss
para,
niyo ba ako, guys? Minsan?
oh,
Baka hindi na ako kilala ng mga tao. Hi, Dayan.
hi Diane. Guys, please
Wednesday
comment in our
habit.
chat box where you're watching us from. And sabihin nyo, go Jazz, if you guys want her to help me with our hosting.
Wala
Every
bang
first,
lag?
may lag konti. Kasi I
Kasi sa
think
Laguna pa ako. Ang kita ng
no, yung
joke ko.
StreamYard and Facebook really has a lag.
Okay.
May konti. So, medyo may adjustment. Ano nga yun? So, second Wednesday of the month, guys, we have our Live Boldly with Revlon. So, we're gonna talk about all about confidence and how do we parang prep ourselves off in terms of self-belief. And then, the third Wednesday of the month, it's Passion into Action with Kendama Collective. And so we want to be able to explore like transforming, how do we translate our passion into action, di ba? Ayan, Jazz, yung mga fans mo nandun na. Ayan. May delayed reaction lang. Or delayed na yung pagpasok niya. And then, hello, Shen. And the
Hi,
fourth
Karen from
Wednesday of the
Cebu.
month, sorry, dami kong announcement. Fourth Wednesday of the month, go lang, Jazz. Fourth Wednesday of the month, we have our Mind Nation partnership wherein we do our mental health check-in with everyone, with Mind Nation as our partner and with Kat Trevino. So, ayan, Jazz.
Okay, maraming salamat sa mga nag-hi-hi sa akin.
Ang dami.
From Mandaluyong and Cebu, feel ko naman tong na to, TV show, host na host lang tayo dito, Dar. Ano bang
Yes.
pag-uusapan natin today? Anong plaplanuhin natin?
Pag-uusapan natin today yung pinaka-importanting bagay for our security and in a way will help in terms of our mental health, Jazz. It's our
Oo nga naman.
finances.
Ay, nako, usapang pera pala to.
Usapang pera. Guys, sinong gusto to talk about money and learn on how we can manage about money? Can you please chat? Ano bang pwedeng?
Yeah, what
FQ,
questions do you have?
financial quotient. Let's increase our FQ for tonight. So please type FQ in our chat box if you want to increase your financial quotient in this game
Gusto ko
plan.
yan. Gusto ko yung plano na yan. Kayo, gusto nyo ba to? Sabihin nyo, game
gusto
na.
ko.
Pili
Guys,
naman siya, no? Game, di ba? Open-minded ka ba? Joke lang, hindi ganito yon.
Ay, hindi kami magbebenta, but we're here to help you learn. And we have a very, very special guest tonight to help me, Jazz, and you guys increase our financial quotient. Kasi alam mo naman natin, we're in the middle of the pandemic.
Oo nga. It's not just about IQ or EQ, di ba, Dar? So, finances are really a big part of our mental health, of our emotions, and what affects our economics. So, harapin natin to. Let's increase our FQ. No?
Yes, definitely. And our guest for tonight.
Ayan.
Our guest for tonight is behavioral economist. So, bigatin yung person natin, guys.
Oo nga.
For tonight. And I learned so much about her, about what she teaches. Like when I met her last year, I was so inspired with everything that she does because it's really not just about learning how to manage your money, but also what are your belief systems related to money, and how does it help you or parang impact you in your life right now. So yun yung mga content and pag-uusapan natin tonight. And
Exciting.
and sana you guys will learn a lot. These we are open to a lot of questions because we want to be able to really just help you guys. So our guest for tonight is Rose Fres Fausto, an investment banker turned full-time homemaker and now a writer and speaker on money and family using behavioral economics. So sabi ko nga sa inyo guys, 'di ba, bigatin. So she's also a columnist in Philstar, FQ Corner, and she's the grand prize winner of the first CNAG Financial Literacy Digital Journalism Award in 2014. And she has written many different books on managing finances. The one that I got to know her with is FQ, or Financial Quotient, the Ant Intelligence, and the Emotional Cycle of Investing, and why financial literacy alone does not work. So yun, ito yung crash course natin. So without further ado, I want to bring in our special guest, Miss Rose Fres
Rose.
Fausto. Yay!
Hello, good evening to
Hello.
all of you. Hi Dar, hi Jess. How are you
Nice
guys?
to see you again, Rose.
Yes, I know. We had fun during that event.
Oo
Masyadong
nga
Yeah,
eh.
nung
So glad all the
January.
Bellas can hear from you and
Yep,
learn
yep.
something
Correct,
from you
Happy
tonight.
to hear. Happy Easter to everyone. It's
Happy
Happy
Easter!
Easter. Yes.
Yep, yeah.
So,
So it's very exciting. Marami tayong pag-uusapan. And you wanna start? Natawa naman ako dun sa bigatin. Parang, kanina when I was putting on this dress, by the way, naka-dress ako ha. Kaya when you kept on saying bigatin, parang inisip ko, does she know na bumigat?
hindi. It's sexy mo nga eh. That's my goal. Dapat matapos yung 2021. Ano na ako. Kasing
Oo.
fit mo na ako.
Mamaya,
Kasi
meron tayong
physically and
pag-uusapan
financially
tungkol
fit.
dyan sa behavioral economics as related to the waistline. Na! Paalala nyo.
Yun pala yung next topic natin, guys.
Ay, mas gusto nila yun.
So, Rose, since we're talking about finances, and I feel like you created or popularized this two letters called FQ. Can you tell us about the two letters FQ?
Okay, so over a decade ago, when I was writing bits and pieces of my first book, Raising Pinoy Boys, I was it's a coffee shop near my son's school. I was waiting for them, so sulat-sulat ako. And then I would see these kids buying coffee. Grabe di syempre over 100 yung kape. Loob-loob ko. I started drinking coffee when I was working already. At hindi ganyan kamahal ang kape namin. Anyway, so that time I was writing the chapter on money matters in my first book, Raising Pinoy Boys. And so I realized there's IQ, intelligence quotient, there's EQ, emotional intelligence quotient, and there's also adversity quotient. Ang dami mga QQ, banana Q. So sabi ko, I think I will use the term FQ. When I Googled FQ at the time, over a decade ago, yung mga lumalabas, yung mga medyo bastos. but I like the ring to it na parang IQ, EQ. So sabi ko, okay, let's use the term FQ to mean financial intelligence quotient. And that was the start of it. And then a few years later, I put up the website called fqmom.com.
Ganda.
Yun ang history niyan.
Okay. So, in terms of finances, can you still hear me? Feeling ko
Yes.
In terms of finances, Rose, pwede ba natin pag-usapan, kahit in broad strokes lang, How did the pandemic affect money matters for you?
For me personally,
Oo. Para we
um,
can, set the tone and then baka
yes.
makarelate yung mga nanonood sa atin.
Well, for me personally, there were events that were already scheduled, and some had to be canceled, some had to be retrofitted, and syempre, with the cancellation means na bawasan ka ng revenues, tapos with the retrofitting means very deep discounts. Kasi they would say, online naman eh. So, mga ganon. But later on, fortunately, what compensated for that is it became easier to have events. It became online, di ba? So, for example, for me, syempre hindi mo naman kakayanin na isang talk dito umaga and then another talk in the afternoon. So, nung naging online na, it became easier to accommodate more. Although, it's not yet I wouldn't always do that because you need the headspace. Kasi ako, syempre,
Yes.
I take it seriously. I enjoy. There's a lot of energy. Alam mo, if you're
Yes.
giving a talk, kasi I like doing that. So your adrenaline is high, tuwan-tuwa ka sa pinagsasabi mo, and then pagka the people are telling you how inspired they are, or those who have been following you tell you about the improvements in their life. Pero pagkatapos ng event, pagkatapos ng high mo, talagang boom, gaganon din eh. So, so medyo dapat sinespace din natin. And I think that's one of the problems right now because we are taking for granted that thought of the headspace. We need these breaks
Yeah.
also. Okay, so going back to the money matters during the pandemic, that was what happened to us. Fortunately, hindi ganun kasama because it was able to compensate for the number of the events that followed later on. And there was also a little bit of savings, if I may say, kasi the vacations were canceled. Pero nakakainis lang kasi the out of the country vacations that you've canceled, hindi ka nila nire-refund. Ay, nako. Hindi nagre-refund ang mga airline. Ano ba yan? Diba? So those are the things that happened. But I'm saying that maybe I'm in a fortunate place because hindi masyadong, kumbaga, my earnings was not the main fuel that was driving this household. Had it been, mas mahirap siguro. And of course, because we've already set aside emergency fund, and of course I've been saving since I was in kinder. So
Wow.
Wow.
the main difference probably, so it's fortunate that I really didn't feel that shock, but I do know a lot of people, some very close to us. Syempre, yung ibang nagtatrabaho with us din, yun din yung nararamdaman nila na ang laki talaga. The economy really shrunk. The GDP, yung ating, bumabagsak na po ang ating GDP, and unemployment is really getting from bad to worse. So, we really have to talagang regroup. Mahirap. We don't know yet. We were thinking that come 2021, medyo
Correct.
Easter na, pero it seems like hindi because the cases are getting higher and higher. So,
Correct.
Mm-mm.
no
I
matter
know.
how careful you are.
Yeah. Actually, last year, at around this time, we were doing a company workshop internally also that we were reminding everyone that the recommended in terms of to plan
Yeah.
is to sort of shrink your operations by 20%. So parang if you're handling your household,
Yeah.
parang really look at on a month to month. Ano ba
Yes.
yung pwede nating pagtipirin muna kasi may pandemic nga na to just shrink it at up to 80%, or I mean syempre if you can do save more better,
Yes.
right? But at
Yeah.
least daw 20% para lang mag-extend yung pera, and
Yeah.
then at the same time give you more money for savings.
Yes. Meron akong naisip pala about that. Kasi normally, the easiest way to do is just across-the-board budget cut. So if you want 20%, everybody has to give 20%, di ba?
Correct.
But there are behavioral studies that show that, yun di ba? That, for example, in a household, instead of cutting everything across the board, 20%, mas maganda daw kung pipili ka ng mga main expenses that you can actually live without and just take those out. Kasi pag niliitan mo yung lahat, bawa pagkain, lahat-lahat, parang mas ramdam natin. Mas ramdam natin. So parang mas yugit-yugit, kawawa naman ako, mga ganyan. So actually, it's also a good exercise so that you will now really know what are the things that really matter to our family, di ba? Yun na yung essentials versus, di ba essentials?
Essentials.
Yan ang topic namin bukas, You please watch us on Kumu at 11 a.m.
Sige.
Essentials. So yun. So siningit ko lang yon because it's a very interesting study because even I would say the easiest way, okay, everybody has to cut 20%. Wala na tayong isip-isip pa. But when it comes to the way you feel about your, di ba, syempre, we also have to take care of our well-being. Pakiramdam natin about how we are. That adds a lot. So, di ba, kagaya ni baby.
Ako din kanina, may baby akong tinatabi.
Ako malalaki na yung mga baby ko, kaya
Feeling nga.
Bagong ligo.
Sarap!
Ayan. But I think I agree with you. Parang I think that also helps. Kasi nga, pag 20% across the board, it really makes you feel kawawa, no?
Everything lahat tinamaan, di ba?
Oo, correct.
Parang may deprivation feeling siya if it's across nga. Oo nga, no?
Yes.
Oo. Tapos, and if there's that deprivation, baka lalo kang ma-affect mentally, your mental health, your emotional health. Yun nga yung feeling na, ano ba yan, kawawa, ang hirap ng buhay. Yung parang feel na lahat.
Oo.
That's a really great tip.
Naalala mo yung kunento ko when we guested in the show Salve? When at the start of the lockdown. At the start of the lockdown kasi, parang ako, I didn't want to panic buy. Sabi ko, pagkasyahin natin what's in the pantry. And I went to the point na pati yung corned beef, pinalagyan ko ng sabaw. Sabi ko, yan na yung nagreklamo na yung bunso ko. Sabi niya, Ma, this is too much. This is too much. Parang susunod daw, baka lagyan ko na ng sabaw yung mga noodles. No, but I think there was also something at the back of my mind na I want us to be one with the nation na kailangan magtikis-tikis tayo. So, yun naman yung other side nun. But really, I think what my son felt shows na it is really important to just choose the expenses that you can get rid of para hindi naman lahat ng bagay sa buhay mo nag-deteriorate na, kumbaga.
Correct.
Actually,
sense, alam mo, ano yung na-let go ko? I mean, I know, it was a wonder kasi before the pandemic, I felt like minimum requirement ko talaga yung massage. As in, wala. Buong year.
Same.
Kaya ko pala mabuhay. Parang gumagalaw pa pala yung katawan ko. Bakit walang massage? Yung feeling mo, ang tanda na hindi gumagalaw. Pero,
ako, I realized I never, not a single piece of clothing was purchased.
No new clothes.
Yeah,
same,
so my last purchase was February 2020. Yun na. I think I even purchased some kasi may mga talks akong bumili ako ng mga damit. Tapos the entire time, wala akong binili sapatos, damit, wala. As in zero. That's why, nung Holy Week, it's part of our traditions na Good Friday, we do our closet clean-up. Parang nagmamalikondo kami lahat. And we get rid of some. So we really do that every year para hindi siksik yung closet namin. This time, Kasi meron din kaming mga challenges. Nagka-COVID kasi napasukan kami ng COVID. So we had these challenges and we were not able to do kasi ayoko, no, natakot ako, baka mamaya sipunin ako sa dust or anything. And then nagkaroon ako na excuse, sabi ko, hindi naman ako bumili ng damit eh. So wala
kang niligpit kasi wala kang binili.
wala akong tatanggalin.
Oo, ako din, manicure, pedicure ako dati, naka-budget talaga yan. Every other week.
Wow.
Wala. 2 years na, wala.
Zero, di ba?
Pwede, kaya naman pala. So, sarili, DIY. DIY kot-kot. Oo.
Yeah,
Saka
that's a
walang
very...
makeup. Yeah, wala rin ako napiling makeup. For a makeup artist, So, kumbaga, ginamit ko na lang lahat na hindi ko nagagamit.
Okay, question. Talaga nagkwentuhan na lang, Meron ka bang do you do online? You do online niya?
Yes, yes. So, of course, before may face-to-face classes pa or minsan for BDJ events, 'di ba? We would also have some tawag dito, makeup tutorial or talks. Meron pa. What was that event, Dar? Yung in-interview ko pa sila, Bobby. That big event.
Beauty, big beauty boot camp.
Oh, there. So,
we will have our
ako
beauty
sa
boot
ganyan.
camp.
Baka soon, magkaroon tayo ng, everyday Zoom makeup, class.
Session.
Gusto mo yan, Rose?
Meron.
Para magamit naman natin yung mga makeup.
Yes. Iba yung intention.
Actually, sabi ni Sarah, namimiss na nga niya attending our live events. And then, Rose, you have a fan here. Si Tash.
Yeah, hi, Tash. I've read books. Yes. Uy, galing in one day.
In one day.
Oh,
yes.
I'll see
So,
you
guys.
tomorrow, Tash.
So, one of the reasons, guys, we invited Rose to share with us today because we want to be able to really learn more about what we can do at this time. Kasi pandemic na nga, and then if we're not equipped in terms of our mental models or mindset, so, mas mahihirapan tayo. So, babalik ko lang sa topic. Rose. Ano yung what do you think is the most important way to increase our FQ at this time, or parang essentially in general, like I guess any other time?
Okay, so I think the first thing to do is to know where you are right now, 'di ba? Kasi you don't really know ano bang gagawin ko if you don't know where you are and where you want to go. So in terms of knowing where you are, I always say take the FQ test. It's a free online test and you can find it on fqmom.com. Just click take the FQ test. So after that, now you would know the FQ test kasi consists of two parts. There's the knowledge portion and the behavior portion. Kaya sinasabi ko, FQ is the IQ, that's the knowledge, and the EQ, the actual behavior when it comes to handling your money. And really, you have to have a fairly clear picture of what you want in your life. Ano bang gusto mong klaseng buhay? Kasi iba kung ang dream mo maliit lang naman na apartment, okay ka rin dyan, ikaw naman pala, gusto mo pala magkaroon ng farm, kagaya nung kay Bea Alonso ngayon. Nagandang-ganda ako dun sa farm niya. So, yung mga ganon. And when you are now clear with that, where you want to go, you can see how far you have to travel, no, from where you are right now and where you want to go. That will now determine what you're supposed to do. How much do you have to save? Where you should be investing? How much should you be spending given your earning capacity? So yung mga ganon. And I like that. I think, Dar, you're very big on mindset.
Yes.
Diba? It's really true, This brain of ours is really the most powerful organ in our body. Na talagang siya yung pinaka-captain. And we really have to be very careful the way we take care of our brain. Lahat ng mga pinapasok natin, ano yung inaalagaan ba natin? Do we give it a rest? Do we sleep enough hours? Tapos kung ano ba yung mga pinagbababasa natin? So yung mga tipong ganun. So When it comes to handling your money kasi it's not numbers lang eh. That's just like a small part of it. So the people out there who are scared and very intimidated and insecure about their math knowledge, naku, wala yan. Meron naman tayong calculator eh. All you have to know is the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So when you know that at alam mo na kung saan mo gustong papunta, mas magkakaroon ng meaning yung mga ginagawa mong sacrifices right now. Like, for instance, pay yourself first. I always say that. Bakit ba? Why do I have to pay myself first? Why do I have to postpone enjoying my money? Because nga, yourself in the future is the same as who you are right now. That's the thing that we're having a hard time daw relating eh. As if yung old self natin, parang ibang tao siya. So, gano'n. Dami ko na sinabi.
Oo nga eh. Rose, alam mo, what really, kumbaga, what really resonated with me dun sa sinabi mo, sabi mo, di ba parang, you have to know where you are now and then where you want to be. So, in other words, parang it's, I think kasi we all have that feeling of being stuck right now and nobody really predicted that this was going to go on for so long. Tapos parang 'di ba may mga joke nga na parang canceled ang 2020 tapos ngayon parang walang gana magplano ng 2021. But seriously, apparently, like what you said nga, you have to know where you still want to go. Kumbaga your goals, your plans shouldn't be canceled after all kasi nga that's the direction that can really unstuck you, no? So how do you what is your advice on how we can shift our mindset about money? Kasi parang ngayon, it's just about, yun nga, everybody just really wanted to be mentally stable or be healthy. But, yun nga, money is really needed. That's the kind of energy that we need, di ba? Talaga to make the wheels keep turning. So how do we change our mindset on money? Kasi like, me personally, yun nga, parang, I didn't want to talk about money. For me, money is the source of evil. Growing up may ganyan akong iniisip. So parang, ang hirap niya, lalo na in the Philippine culture, di ba, hirap na hirap tayo to talk about money, di ba? Parang kapag you talk about the difficulty of having it or the abundance of having it, parang there's no way that you can talk about it unless you change your mindset. So how can we change our
Okay, I
mindset?
like that you mentioned na you grew up na parang money was taboo. You really couldn't talk about it in a healthy way. In FQ Book 1, I have exercises there that really helps you dig deep into your childhood money memory. So may mga exercises doon. We call them our CMM, Childhood Money Memory. And when you do that, kasi when you build something high, di ba, we want to have a high FQ. What do you usually do when you build something high? Di ba, you have to have a very sound foundation. And a sound foundation is getting deep, di ba? So it's the same way with money. You have to get deep into your respective family money stories. Paano ka ba lumaki? Naririnig mo ba yung magulang mo? Lagi sinasabi, mahirap kitain ng pera. Or, oh my gosh, you shouldn't be talking about money while eating. That's true. Para ka ng incher. Ganyan yung mga salita nung araw, di ba? I actually have a childhood money memory that says that. Isang medyo alta sosyedad na, na guy who did our exercise. So, ganon. Habla Espanyol sila, para ka ng incheck. Ganon, pag nag-uusap ng money. So, he grew up saying that it was rude to talk about money or in poor taste. Ganyan. So, after you do that, so pag naintindihan mo na, if you go through our exercise on childhood money memory, you will understand why you relate to money the way you do right now. Tapos, syempre, hindi naman ito blame game na kasi yung nanay ko, yung tatay ko, yung uncle kong mayaman, masamang tao siya, ganyan. Wala, hindi yun para para sa akin, there is an expiry to blaming your childhood with your fate. That is the age of 24.
24. Lagpas na ako doon.
Araw na 24. Maybe because I got married at 24. But may scientific basis. Medyo kinulang lang ako ng 1 year. Age 25, that's where neurologists agree that's the time that we are able to develop our prefrontal cortex, which is our rational brain. And we will talk more about that pag pinag-usapan natin yung FQ Book 2. Okay, so going back. So ganyan na, huwag kang magbe-blame. Tapos, i-connect mo ngayon yon dun sa core values mo so that you will now, how do I now have a healthy relationship, a healthy mindset about money? You now have to know what are the values that you really hold dear. So usually family values yan or sarili mo na gusto mong i-develop, i-align mo ngayon yan. Ganon. Kaya importante yung mindset. Dar, meron ako, siguro, ewan ko kung nabasa mo na to because you're big on mindset. To those who are still a little bit cynical about the importance of mindset, there are studies, kasi ito ulit, behavioral studies na yung mga hotel cleaners, housework kasi is good exercise eh. So, ayan, yung mga malang helpers ngayon, yun na lang isipin natin. Housework is good exercise. So, they did this experiment. One group, they were told that this is great exercise for you. When you go up the stairs, so parang sinasabi yung mga health benefits sa kanila. Another group, walang sinabi. So they were doing exactly the same physical exertions. And then after a certain period, they found out that those who were told, those who were now given the mindset that exercise is what they were doing while they were doing their job, they improved their health.
Yes.
Their health.
They improve their health. Kasi nagka-meaning eh. Di ba? Pag uwi mo siguro, pagka, alimbawa, cleaner ka sa hotel, sakit na ng katawan ko. Pagka uwi ng mga sinabihan na exercise yan, oh, I had a good workout today. Di ba? Ganun yun.
Yeah, correct,
And
correct.
that's now the mind. That's now the mindset having a very significant effect on what happens to you. So, ganun din lalo sa pera, which is a very emotional thing.
I agree. And I think it's the money mindset nga is if there's any more proof is really, 'di ba, yung mga one-time lotto winners or raffle winners wherein they win lots of money, like millions and millions of pesos. And then in a year's time, they would lose everything.
Yeah.
And they're back to where they started. And parang a lot of, as you said, if behavioral economist or psychologist would say that it's really because of their mental model about themselves, their money mindset belief about themselves, maybe even to a certain extent, if they deserve that money or not.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, there's a term for that. It's called psychological wallet. So
nice.
if you have
Ganda.
a small psychological wallet, whenever these things happen to you, like you win a lotto, no, parang your mindset kasi has a small psychological wallet. So there will be things that you will do subconsciously that will make you get rid of that money because it doesn't belong to you. It cannot be accommodated by your small psychological wallet. But if your psychological wallet is huge, then kahit na merong biglang dumating sa'yo, kaya mo, you can accommodate it. Walang mangyayari na subconsciously gagastusin mo to kasi there are so many things eh. It could be na baka evil yun eh. Nobody wants naman to be a bad person, di ba? So you will get rid of it. Or maraming mga maliliit-liit na mga psychological things. So you have to remember that when you have a psychological wallet that can accommodate all the blessings that the world can offer you, that means that you feel that, okay, I deserve this if I worked hard for this. Yung mga ganon. So talagang, hindi talaga lang numbers eh. Sobrang ang daming bagay about FQ that is really nothing just to do about numbers. Kaya, sabi ko ulit, okay,
sobrang, very revealing, no? Just talking to you, Rose. And then a while ago, you mentioned, but there are some aspects of the conversation on behavioral, mindset or behavioral wallet nga that are tackled in your book. You mentioned this a lot, and then we know for a fact that you've launched a 2-in-1 book. Can you tell us more about it and why we should get it aside from what we're feeling right now here? Kasi I'm sure kami ni Dar, we're prosperity, infinite prosperity attendees eh. So kami, we know why we want to get it, but I'm sure our Bellas would like to know more about your book.
Okay, so this is really a trilogy. It's called the FQ trilogy. So the first one was yon, yung may malaking FQ. So in
Mhm.
FQ Book 1, the title there is FQ, the Nth Intelligence. Yeah, it talks about, it helps you really understand your relationship with money. Yung sinabi ko kanina sa'yo, may mga exercises, and
Oo
also
nga.
discusses the 3 basic laws of money. Now,
Okay, that's
in
book
FQ
1.
Book 2, tadan, Diyos ko, ito, makapal to. More than double the
Nakita ko
size.
nga
Oo,
eh. Kaya
more
ang
than
galing
double
ni
the
ano,
size
na
of
nabasa daw
textbook.
niya in one day.
O, di ba? Ang bongga niya. And that's
Bongga,
why it's
bongga.
I call it a 2-in-1 book.
Oh,
Yeah. Hindi
bongga.
pa to yung FQ Book 3, FQ Book 2 pa lang to. So, what does this say? Di ba, usong-uso, financial education. Financial education is the answer to our money problems. Financial education is the answer to poverty. It's all over the world.
Correct, correct.
Yan. Unfortunately, my dears, it is not. There is no, alam nyo, I really hope it were, but there are no empirical evidence that shows that it is the answer. In fact, studies kasi show that if you really take out the other factors, the only positive effect of a financial education on the improvement of your financial behavior is, can you guess how small it is? Ako, sobrang nawindang ako the first time I saw this study. It's 0.1%. Di
Wow.
ba? Sabi ko, typographical error ba ito? Hindi eh. Ang lungkot, di ba? So parang isipin ko, ano mga pinaggagawa natin financial education doesn't work pala? So yun, it doesn't in the way we would like it to work. And why is that so? It's because of the way we are wired. The way we are wired is that alam na natin, so we study it, di ba? But that is by the prefrontal or the rational brain. But the behavior
Mm.
is driven by our emotional brain. So it's a little bit nosebleed, but hold on. What I did is to still straight true to my colors, which is really just easy to understand language. Itong mga Ivy
Correct.
League terms na to, ginagawa kong mainstream. And that's why I came up with the 2 characters, si Makatwirang Mak at saka si Emotional Emong. So that it's a fun ride with these 2 guys while we
Yes.
understand. Ito yung mga behavioral biases natin. Yan yung mga pinagsasabi ko dito sa book 2. And it will now help you understand the psychology of money. Masaya yan! Isa-score mo yung sarili mo kung ano yung tinatawag natin na me score. Mac Emong score. How rational are you?
Emong.
Mac or Emong?
It's really
Ah.
Makong or Emong. Yeah. I think this is really good for a lot of people, especially those na who's scared to manage money. Kasi 'di ba, parang meron pa nga a lot the grace ng hand ka bigla si Jazz. Yeah,
Are you still scared?
Well, syempre, pag wala ka ng choice, di ba? You're running a household. But, yung parang investing money, even if we're exposed to opportunities. Sabi nga nung insurance financial advisor ko, para daw akong matanda, para daw akong retiree kung mamili ng policy. Di ba minsan may mga parang fund value, tanda ko daw mamili. So yung
Ayan,
risk,
naku,
kumbaga, may risk, risk averse ba yung tawag niya
Averse.
doon? Oo. So, yeah,
Talking
this is
about
very
risk.
encouraging. Oo.
Yeah. Talking about risk
because the
aversion.
stories the stories that Rose wrote in the book, it's very colloquial. Yung parang parang baka connect ka sa
Oo.
people in the
Yeah.
stories. So, parang ka
Oo.
lang nag-read ng pocketbook.
Oo nga.
But you learn a lot.
Parang ka nagbe-belle de jour. Di
Yes.
ba? Parang kwentuhan lang tayo, chika-chika lang tayo.
Yes.
Oo, it's
correct.
very,
Tapos ang
very
dami mo nang
encouraging.
nakukuha.
Yeah. You
Totoo.
spoke about you being loss averse. And I'd like to point that out, that is probably the most important behavioral economics principle in the field of behavioral economics kasi siya yung parang pinakamatindi at tas marami siyang mga sub-biases na lumalabas. what is loss aversion? It means to say that the magnitude of a loss is felt a lot greater, at least twice as much as the pleasure of having a gain. So that gets more. For example, in the stock market, only 1% of our population invests in the stock market. Why is that? Kasi naman pag ganun-ganun yung stock market, di ba? Parang meron ka 100 pesos per share ngayon. Ako bukas, 80 pesos na lang, bumabagsak. Tapos biglang tataas. So, yung bang takot natin that we will lose is so much more than yung gain that we get when we make money in the stock market. So, we just shy away from it. Na-gets nyo? Para bang mas masakit yung pain. Bawa, nalugi ka kunyari ng 1,000 pesos. So, mababawasan ka nag-gain ka kunyari ng 1,000 pesos. So, meron kang 1,000 pleasure points. However, when you lose that same amount of money, 1,000 pesos, instead of feeling the pain of 1,000 points, what do you feel? You feel
2,000 points of losses. Ganon.
Yeah, yun talaga.
Totoo,
Scientific
totoo.
yan, hindi invento.
Yeah, parang I know what you're saying. Parang ganun nga yung nangyayari. Oo.
Di ba? So,
Oo,
sasabihin
lalo
mo,
na-
wag na, savings account na lang ako kahit nalugi ko naman. Sa inflation,
Lugi sa
di ba?
inflation. Lugi sa inflation.
Oo, buti na lang risk-free din kunin yung libro ni Rose, ano? Kasi 10% off siya sa crazyaboutpaper.com.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And tonight, I forgot to announce, guys. If you just sign up in the BDJ Studio, sign up. Because this is our new method lang this month of April. We're gonna check out if it works. So it's easier to track our winners. Since you guys know that every time we're doing this show, from time to time, gusto talaga namin magpamigay sa inyo. So we're giving away one FQ book from Fres Fausto from FQ Mom because we really believe that this book can help us at this time. And sobrang grateful talaga ako that parang Rose agreed that they will sell the product in our Crazy About Paper store, crazyaboutpaper.com. And yun nga, we're doing it 10% off for this month. I hope you guys take this opportunity. And of course, please do the takeaway. Sign up tayo para makita din natin.
I think the code is FQ. I think we will flash it, FQ10 off. Ayun. So don't forget to use that code upon checking out on crazyaboutpaper.com.
Ayan. We have our question also from Charm
Cat.
How do
Sabi ni
you
Charm.
Go ahead, Jess.
How do you take action and start with all the financial education that we can acquire po? Because we can absorb all these info but still feel lost with where to start. Okay.
So, ang start mo siguro dyan, pag nagawa mo na yung mga kanina sinabi
Ganda.
natin, na alamin mo, nasan ka, di ba? What is money to you? Yung mga ganong type. What is your relationship with money? Where do you want to go? The very first thing that you should do is to really incorporate in your regular life yung first basic law of money, which is to pay yourself first. That means to say, you have to always save, no matter how small your salary is. Sorry, yung iba, they would always say, it's easy for you to say that. But if your salary is just sapat, sabihin na, kulang pa nga, paano ka magsisave? Well, ang solusyon dyan, bawasan mo yung expenses mo or palakihin mo yung kita mo. But there is no other way to have a really good financial well-being without observing this. And the way to do that, kasi nga alam natin na yung ating emotional emong is laging mas malakas ang dating kaysa kay makatwirang Mac. We have to hack our way through the first basic law of money. And that is by automating it.
Yeah.
Automating. Okay. Sige. Meron pa bang question?
Di ba automatic na ang mga
Very
ngayon?
nice.
Automatic
Actually,
ang tax,
recently,
automatic lahat ng gastos, pero dapat
Automatic
unahin
din ang
yung
savings.
Yeah.
yes, correct. Kasi oo nga naman, may bill tayo that's coming in automatically every month. So we should really allocate automatically for our savings.
Okay. Sige, so that's how we will start. Okay, see, Dar, you wanna read this one?
Sabi ni
From
Elham
Amor.
Quaresma, this is the first time I heard about FQ and I heard about financial literacy, but it is really more on the person's behavior and attitude in managing money.
Galing ni
You
Rose,
are
di ba?
Yeah, you're
Mm-mm.
right. I'm sorry
Yeah.
nga di ba, financial education does not work. So we need to still know it, but we cannot count on that to solve our money behavior. You really have to look at the behavior because that's the one that will ultimately affect your financial condition.
Totoo, totoo.
Ang guys, please write it down in your plans.
And say it
Medyo
with me.
important yun.
Ulitin natin yon sabay-sabay.
Look at your behavior. Second,
Oh,
ito timer
Oo,
para sa
I mean,
amin.
the reason I said a while ago, it's very encouraging. Kasi di ba parang, ako kasi I'm a fine arts graduate. I'm always
you
identified as an artist. So parang, di ba parang, hindi naman ako magaling sa pera or hindi ako magaling sa math. So it's very revealing na parang I don't need to be good at it. I just need to have the right mindset for it. Ayan.
And the
Correct.
right design of your regular life.
Nice.
Alam nyo, kung medyo nahihirapan tayong i-take, ang daming nahirapang i-take to when I said nga that financial education is not the answer. Let's just look at the way we live our life when about our health. Yan ang pinaka-basic, di ba? Sinong adult ba ang hindi may alam how to be healthy? That you have to eat well, sleep enough hours, and exercise. Meron pa bang adult na hindi may alam nun? Di ba lahat tayo alam natin yon?
Correct.
Pero, kaya nga sabi ko, Jazz, meron tayong meme sa FQ Book 2. Parang rap siya, and it goes something like this. Bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? So kung i-rap mo, bakit gets ko na, pero di ko magawa? Bakit gets ko na? Di ba gets naman
Ang
natin
ganda!
lahat? It's because of our emotional emong side. So yun ang kailangan natin alamin para matulungan natin, maiayos natin.
Oo nga.
Ang ganda. I-memorize ko na yung rap.
Anonymous question ba to?
So, there's this question. How do you ground yourself when you feel anxious or overwhelmed? When you feel like you need to come back to yourself? I guess related also with money, diba? Right now.
Financial anxiety.
Financial anxiety, feeling that you don't have enough funds for yourself, for your family. And parang, yun nga, parang I guess people know that you have to increase your income, add income flows, or even decrease your revenue. But ang hirap magawa. Hindi
Bakit
magawa.
gets mo na, pero di mo magawa? Okay. So ano yan parang sabi mo nga pare-pareho. And even if our question sender is asking something which is not money related, the answer to this question really needs you to pause. And that is also the gift of really knowing your MAC and your emong side. It would now allow you to create pauses in your life. So this one, I think she really needs a big pause na what's happening, di ba? Mag-regroup ng konti. What's happening? Ano ba itong nangyayari? Naloloka na ako? Sige. You have to accept where you are. I-validate mo yung mga feelings mo. But you have to know that after grieving or whatever, kung ano man the way you process your feelings, you will have to have a plan. And that will now also depend on ano bang goals mo in life. So the thing that we're undergoing right now, na parang lahat tayo siguro or most of us, parang walang katapusan to, no? Walang katapusan. Pero promise, this too shall pass. And it's very important nga that dapat kasi we should look at history as learning from the stories of the past generations. Hindi yung, I don't know, in my generation kasi history was like memorization na di ba, boring. But really, history is such an amazing course. You know what I'm reading also right now? May libro, no? Have you read this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's in my Kindle.
Book,
Oh my gosh, di ba? Parang when you look at history, Kahit na mas hindi naman gasing lalim nito na doon pa sa mga Neanderthal. Kahit yun lang history ng mga dati nating market crashes, yung mga downturn ng ating economy, babangon naman tayo eh. Grabe, yung economy natin, yung population natin, we have over 110 million Filipinos.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the demographics of that is that ang bata nung, alam mo, ang tanda na, well, I don't know about you, pero ako sobrang matanda na ako for the population. Kasi nasa, ano talaga eh, yung average is nandun sa mga 20s eh. Oo. So, when you realize that, ang ibig kasi sabihin, pag ganyan yung population, that is the demographic sweet spot of our country. Na ibig sabihin, marami sa population natin very productive. And tataas yung economy natin. You know, siguro pagka medyo umayos-ayos na tayo with this pandemic and if the government gets its act together or if this government can't, but the next one will, that's why you have to be very, very cautious in choosing your leaders. I cannot overemphasize
Don't
that.
forget to register to vote.
Yes, alam mo, totoo yan because you cannot underestimate the havoc that can be brought by an unfit leader. We've seen that in history. I'm sorry to say. But we also have our part. And when we see this as just something that will pass also, sabi ko nga, this too will pass. You can now make your plans right now. Habang hindi pa nagkakagulo, tingnan niyo yung ginawa ni Henry C. nung araw. Nung nagkaroon ng crisis, di ba? Tinayo niya yung North EDSA na SM. They were all saying, he's a crazy guy. Why did he build such a huge building? Sinong pupunta dyan? And liblib. So you should be a little bit of a visionary in your own way. Saan ba ako magaling? Ano ba yung pwede kong i-offer? Na pagka ito medyo umayos na or umpisahan mo na ngayon, what can I offer right now on an online basis? Yung mga ganun type.
Oo nga. Parang kumbaga money is energy, so parang it's also equivalent to your time and to your talents or your other resources, 'di ba? May ano dito, I saw in the comments on our Facebook page, sabi ni Beth, she's asking, how do you also invest in PH or US stocks or cryptos? Do you also invest in PH or, I mean, speaking of our local economy?
Me, personally, I invest in Philippine stocks and US. I don't invest in crypto, but that has really to be studied because feeling ko kasi that's also the wave of the future. If there are transactions that you can, where you can use cryptocurrency, medyo subok-subukan mo, pero wag muna siya as really as an investment kasi, well, me personally, I still cannot see it as where I can store value. Hindi ko pa masyadong, but it's a very speculative investment na ang dami kasing mga stories naiengganyo talaga tayo dun sa mga ganito lang, kumita ng ganito in a few days, ganyan. Pero yung pabagsak din nun, ganun din, mas steep pa yung pagbaba nun. But I think there is really future in that, the cryptocurrency kasi yan yung tipong it democratizes talaga all over the world. Wala nang bangko sentral yan di ba?
Correct. Exactly.
So, but the rule nga in investing is invest in something that you understand. So when I say invest in the Philippine stock market or abroad, kung meron kang facility that you can use abroad, it is, you have to think of it as nakikisosyo ka sa mga taipans in our country. And the way to do that is to just invest in equity index fund. Ano po yun? Parang pooled fund ito. Hindi na po kayo yung mamimili kung anong stock ba dapat. Kasi for you to be able to select your stocks properly, you have to know how to read balance sheet. You have to know how to understand. Pero sino lang ba naman yun? Konting-konting tao lang yon. But if you invest in equity index fund, isipin nyo na lang, kasosyo nyo na yung mga Sobel de Ayala, mga C family, yung mga top 30 corporations, automatic na po yan. Kahit na 1,000 pesos lang.
Okay.
Yun.
Ayan. Meron pa tayong isang question before we go to our closing remarks. Sabi ni Zara and Pink, the drive is there, but sometimes I still get lost. FQ literacy should really be high. How to be consistent.
Okay.
Consistent. Kanina start yung question, ngayon how to be consistent.
You will find out in FQ Book 2 talaga, promise. Because when it shows you the different biases, diba? When it shows you, you will now be able to identify your own biases. May mga tips din po yon on how you can protect yourself from yourself. For example nga, yung loss aversion ninyo, no? Alam nyo naman na yung stock market bagsak, akyat, ano? But it is the asset class that gives the highest return in the long term. So kung hindi kaya ng stomach nyo, wag nyo nang tignan at i-automate ninyo para pag bagsak ang market, bumibili pa rin kayo. Ang nangyayari kasi ngayon, girls, what happens usually is, pagka tumataas yung market, hala, takbo, nagbibilihan lahat. Pag bumabagsak yung market,
nagwi-withdraw.
That is the exact formula for losing money. Kasi they're buying high and selling low.
Yes,
so the way
correct,
to be consistent is to automate it. There are a lot of facilities with financial institutions, banks, or sa mga platforms, na isang beses ko lang pag-iisipan kung kailan ka rational at hindi atat. So pag sinabi mo, okay, I'm going to invest 20% of my income every month. Isang beses ka magsa-sign up, naka-program na yon, kahit anong mangyari, yun na. Automatic.
Yes,
That's the way to be consistent. That actually is the only way. Because we are emotional beings. See, kahit ako, I've been investing for so many decades now. Pagka nakikita ko lumalaglag yung market, tapos ako pa yung magdedesisyon na, ilalagay ko ba ito? Mahirap pa rin.
Gets ko yun. I think that's why your parang money mindset is very important, especially when you go or expand into learning about investing and all of these things. Kasi kailangan, yun nga you're sort of very aware on how your emotions work. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng unemotional at all, diba? Na walang emotions, diba?
Yeah.
And then, tama nga yung sinabi ni Rose regarding invest in what you know. So I have a friend also saying na, invest in what you love. So, parang kuwari, let's say, yun nga, when we're talking about investing in the Philippine market, and I would tell my team na, guys, may balak ba kayong mag-migrate? May balak ba kayong ganon? Kung nakikita naman natin sarili natin in the Philippines in the next 10 years, let's invest in our country, right? And sabi niya, ano yung pwede nating i-investan na stocks? Bumibili ka ba ng Jollibee? Ate, bumili ka ng Jollibee.
Yeah.
Kasi, bawat pa-deliver mo sa Jollibee, you sort of give back to yourself kasi nag-invest ka in Jollibee. So, sabi naman niya, yun nga, invest in what you love.
But you should, what we're saying here is that hindi naman masamang maging emotional na
correct.
Because that's what we are. And that's why the exercises in FQ Book 2 will make you aware kung ano talaga yung me-score mo. How mac are you in this? How emo are you in this? And, honestly, I've been studying this for over a decade now. My me-score is 41.59 in favor of emong. So, what does this mean? Does it mean na kung masyado akong emong, I will not have a high FQ? No, because I know of my wiring, I can now set the right design for my
awareness
life.
is key.
Yes.
So, awareness plus design. Kasi aware ka nga dyan. Wala ka. Dapat ayusin mo yung design.
Ayan, sabi nga ni Ann. Oo, tama yung design. Kasi parang I think design is another way of saying how do you hack yourself, right?
Yes.
How do you hack your emotions pag nadadala ka? So parang how do you hack? So, Jazz, you wanna share yung kay Annalisa?
Ang ganda na sinabi ni Annalisa Angko. Sabi niya, my takeaways for this FQ BDJ session is that we need to save, have the right mindset, right direction, and invest on something you understand. Thanks po.
Yes.
Parang ni-wrap up ni Annalisa yung ano natin. O si
Ito,
D.
ito.
Ang
I
ganda
like
ng
this.
mga belas natin. Nagpa-process talaga sila, Dar.
Galing nyo.
Sabi
Mabuhay
ni D,
kayo.
nagkikita mo ba, Dar?
Yeah, sabi ni
Ay.
D, my takeaway so far, FQ is equal knowledge plus behavior plus designing your financial life in a way that supports your money goals. So that includes automated
Yay!
savings, budgeting. May first honor na.
Good job, D.
May premyo ba yung takeaways, Dar? Dito ba mapupunta
Yes,
yung
may
pa-contest
premium
natin?
takeaway. Please sign up sa bit.ly BDJ Studio sign up. And then, of course, we're giving the book at 10% off this month. Just go at go.crazy about, ayan, nasa taker, about paper.com/FQMom. And you can use the code FQ10 off.
FQ10 off.
And you
Ayan,
can
tapos,
So,
ano, Dar?
you can
Go.
get the book 1 and then book 2 and then syempre aabangan natin ang book 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kasi kailangan natin tong i-complete para
Alam niyo ba yung title ng book 3?
anong book?
Ano?
Yung book 3?
Parang nag-joke si Rose. Ano?
Hindi, totoo. High FQ by design.
May human design component ba to? Ang ganda.
Meron na mga bits and pieces dito sa FQ Book 2, but the FQ Book 3 will be high FQ by design. And I'm going to make experiments, parang Pinoy version naman, that will be shared para alam natin what to do in our everyday life, yung mga maliliit na bagay. You know, it's in the small things talaga.
Correct.
In the small
Ako din.
things. Pareho
Sobrang
lang yan.
ganda, no?
Wealth, health.
Wealth and health. Wealth, health.
Relationship. Yung
Exactly.
maliliit na mga habits na yan, pag pinagsama-sama mo.
Nakaka-excite kasi tinan mo isang oras pa lang tayo nag-uusap dito, may mga takeaway na ganyan sa comment. So, imagine if they get the book, di magagamit, may malalagay na tayo dun sa likod ng BDJ natin dito sa mga ganitong parts ng BDJ natin, di ba? Di ba sa bandang likod, may mga cash flow tracker tayo. Oo, tapos may notes andun. Doon natin lalagay yung takeaways natin. Kaka-excite.
Sige. Rose, siguro, what's your last message to our Bellas for everyone watching us today? And of course, wag natin kalimutan ang team replay natin. We have a good following doing our team replay. Join us during the live, but we're very happy that you're still able to catch us in your own free time. So, final words from Rose. FQ Mom.
Yep, my final words. So thank you very much for having me here, and to the Bellas out there. You know, we all deserve the life that we want, and that's really up to you. And a part of that is really knowing, understanding yourself. And we cannot escape the reality that money plays a huge part in the way we are able to fulfill all our goals and dreams in life. So what I offer you is this chance to really get to know your relationship with money, your behavior in money. And when you do, you're able to now understand and embrace your mga behavioral biases. It will be easier for you to live a more meaningful life. Ang sabi ko nga, ang dream ko for FQ Book 2 is to make all those Ivy League-ish terms ng mga loss aversion, sunk cost fallacy, hyperbolic discounting. Gusto ko maging mainstream. Gusto ko pag nagchichikahan kayo ng mga kaibigan mo, sasabihin mo, hoy masyado ka naman nag-YOLO dyan. Sasabihin mo, hyperbolic discounting lang yan. Masyado ka present bias. Yun ang gusto ko talaga. So that, makita natin itong mga to, hindi lang yung mga matatalino at mga nag-aral sa Harvard ang nakakaintindi nito. Lahat tayo, lahat ng Pinoy may intindihan so that we can apply and make a really wonderful life for each one of us. Kesyo may pandemic o wala.
Yes. Based on your values, no? Yeah.
Thank you. Ganda. Thank you, Rose. Meron baka akong super last question because this is a question that we ask. So Jazz, pakisagot din since you're part of the show tonight. So this question we're asking to all our April guests of our FB Live. What is one thing you want to amplify for 2021?
O, si Jess na ba?
May pause. Jazz. Ikaw muna. Miss Universe question for
Oo
April.
nga, no?
Dapat
For
naka-headset ako,
April
hindi
lang
ko naririnig.
or for buong 2021?
2021.
I think I think we started off right na we took up the infinite prosperity classes. I really think na I still want to amplify my sense of self-worth na I deserve a life of ease and comfort in spite of or because of. So, ayun, may value of self-worth na kahit ano pang pinagdadaanan natin, we deserve that.
O, ikaw din
Miss
ba? Gusto ko marinig.
Ako.
Ano mo i-amplify?
Back to me. Back to me, the question. What do I want to amplify this 2021? For me, it's my word for the year is actually the word flow. And siguro what I want to amplify is really the connection. Kasi I feel like parang with the pandemic, with what happened, with everything that we're going through, there's a lot of connectedness, diba? And then I want to be able to flow. I guess same word with jazz, na parang with ease. Na parang, that parang things will just flow into place. I feel like when we're able to connect the dots na give meaning, as you said, diba yung exercise, pag binigyan mo ng meaning, papayat ka. Pag nag-ano. So, even these hardships that we're experiencing right now, if we find the meaning in it, give meaning to it, then we are in a position wherein we can really reap the maximum benefit. So, ayun, I want to be able to amplify that connectedness or connection so I can do the flow. Yeah.
Ang bongga, di ba? I-connect ko na kayo. I-connect ko yung flow nyo.
Connect. O, ikaw.
So, ako din kasi gusto ko rin ng ganyan, no? That we all deserve a comfortable life, no? A meaningful life.
Correct.
And we want that flow. And the way to really do that is not to always count on our willpower. Yung parang masyadong nakakapagod yon.
Oo,
And that
yung
is the
parang ang
beauty.
hirap ng buhay, no?
Oo, and that is the beauty of understanding behavioral economics. Oh, di ba? Naibigay ko pa rin. Because it will now make you understand where are your behavioral biases, your weaknesses, where are your strengths. And when you do that, you will be able to design something so that you are able to do the right thing regularly and more effortlessly. Kasi ginawa mo nang yun na yung default ng buhay mo eh. Hindi ka na kailangan, willpower ba ako? Magsisave ba ako ngayon? Hindi eh, naka-automate na eh. So yun, that is the beauty of understanding now. Yun ang gusto kong i-amplify. How do we now make our behavior, the right behavior, more effortlessly? Woo!
Ganda.
Thank you so much,
Yes,
Rose.
excited na ako sa third book mo.
Oo.
Excited na ako.
Kailangan intindihin mo yung mga biases.
Oo, absorb. Kailangan i-meditate. Kasi kailangan, I agree, the book is something that you babalik-balikan nyo. Kasi in first reading, yes, it's an easy read. So you don't need to be intimidated. But definitely it's something, alam mo yung pag ninanamnam mo, yung understanding.
I-journal nyo yan.
Journal. So, remember the journal after.
Journal nyo to, promise. Oo.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, thank you, Rose, for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I had fun.
Thank you also, Jazz. I hope
Thanks,
you
Dar.
guys had fun.
Thanks to the viewers.
All the time.
Thank you,
all the
everyone, for watching. And I hope you got a lot of takeaways. Don't forget our promo. So you have to, even if your team replay, I think we'll announce in social media siguro by the end of this week. We'll give you a chance to watch this and join our promos for your takeaways. Because we want to be able to share it with our community. And don't forget, you can get a 10% off if you use the FQ10 off. Tama ba?
FQ10 off
Tama,
code.
mali yung
Correct.
code.
On crazyaboutpaper.com.
FQ10 off at go.crazyaboutpaper.com. And of course, please do sign up para you get a chance to win the book. And it's for free. And we're excited for you guys to have it and hope we can have the discussion as sabi nga ni Rose, baka yung next time, yung mga chat na natin sa community, sa Bella Tribe, sa You Got This PH, so BDJ Plan With Me.
Oo
Kumusta
nga.
na ang iyong
Ang iyong FQ.
your FQ? Nag-increase na ba? And then, or at the same time, yung mga Ivy League words nga na sinasabi ni, ni Rose. O, wag na kayo magpadala sa wag mo sa YOLO because we already know that it's just the, what's the word? Ano yun yung sabi mo?
Yago. You also grow old. Wag puro YOLO kasi yago din.
Oo nga.
You also grow old.
Yes. Okay. So, thank you everyone. Thank you, Rose. Thank you,
Salamat.
Jazz.
Bye. Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye, Rose.